Welcome. My name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986. I want to say thank you for tuning in to try to figure out some more about your dog. There's something that's just going on in this world, and this just confusion, this foolishness, and this just craziness, and this wildness. There's always going to be a way to be able to get yourself out of that. And getting yourself out of that usually is something that is going to take you less work and less behind it. That's just kind of the main theme that I've realized about living life, especially coming out here on this farmland and doing what it is that I'm doing. That the more complicated I started making things, the more complicated everything else started becoming. And then it's just like, it's layers on layers on layers. So today I want to talk about something that comes down to having a nice dog is having a good relationship with the dog. And having a good relationship comes down to two components that I see that you're required to have a nice relationship with your dog. You know, there's all kinds of types of relationships that you would want to have out there. There's the relationship where you just talk, you hang out, you're cool, but you're just kind of that's the best way of saying it. That you're just faking the moment, but behind closed doors, you speak something differently of what's going on here. You're not really representing your true self. You're just being something else, so the person sees and appears and thinks about you a certain way, as opposed to just being who you are. There's relationships like that. There's relationships where you just really want to get intimate is the word, but not in a physical way, but just intimate. You want to be able to explore your thoughts back and forth with each other. You want to be able to experience life together and be able to just be yourself and just have the understanding that there's no dumb questions. There's no stupid questions. There's no silliness. There's no foolishness. You know, just speak what you got to speak, man. It's okay. And we're here. We're with each other. And there's, of course, relationships that are on the complete opposite side of that. And most of us are, we see that in our dogs right now. Just pushy, just demanding, just ruthless, man. They're just like, give me, you better, and just going absolutely wild. As opposed to that dog just being calm and looking at you like, hey, let's go. And you just say, hey, Johnny, here. And the dog's like, oh, okay, let's go. Well, you're like, what's going on here? It's going crazy. So there's something that I'm going to say that in reality is just going to go completely against a lot of what anybody even wants to even think about with dogs that we don't talk about. And I just don't hear many people talk about. I hear it, but it's an unfortunate thing that they're not being heard. They're not being shown. Their message is so huge, but it's like it's not getting put out there for people to be able to hear for some reason. The realness behind relationship. And relationship is two components here that I've just come to see. One is trust. If you do not have trust, you have zero. And trust is the first part that you start with. And then there's respect. Once you have trust, and then you're able to get into the position to be able to start to respect. But don't try to go respect something that you don't trust, because then that's where the fakeness, the foolishness, the lies, the deceitfulness, the manipulation, all that's coming in. If you're trying to go straight to building that relationship through respect. But you have to trust. And the relationship starts with you're seeing something. So I can say dog, I see dog. It starts with me putting myself out there first and trusting first. And how do we trust? What is the concept of trust? Trust is what I'm going to say is something that we in the dog training community are going, I don't think it's just known, but the information is out here, people. It's not for me to just, I made this up. I got it all figured out. No, the information is all out here. And the information is out here for everyone to understand what trust actually truly is. And trust is not deceitfulness, is not manipulation, is not lies, is not trying to take something, get something, be about something that isn't real. And that's where, in reality, I think most of us are messing up with their dogs, with the whole trust concept with our dogs, because their dog doesn't trust you. You came in and trusted your dog at first, pretty much. You know, if you consider taking that dog from the shelter or from the breeder or from wherever you got it, and you brought it into your home, you're like, I trusted this dog's not going to kill me tonight. Like straight up, the dog's not going to put teeth on me. And you got kids in your house, you got trust that the dog's not going to put teeth on your kids. And you had an extreme amount. You put the trust out there first. You put it out there first. That's why that dog is anywhere near you right now. Where I not unfortunately, but something I needed in my life, I brought home a dog that I did not trust. I did not trust my shepherd when I first got it. This dude I heard sticky situations, crazy stories about this dog. But I didn't trust him. So I had to figure out how to be able to get myself to trust him. And that's a whole different situation. But that's the concept right there, that's the next part of the trust, that if you're already in that stage. But if you're in this stage right now that you feel pretty comfortable with your dog, you see it doing weird stuff, and it may put teeth on you a little bit, but you came in and you have the right amount of trust. Now it's a matter of, how do I get the dog to trust me, who I am? That's the part that I think majority of people are just failing and stumbling at. It's not that part of the relationship isn't given to you guaranteed because you give it food. because you give it treats, because you're giving it toys, because you give it praise, because you do any of that to it. That it's not guaranteed. You are taking a dog from who, because this is something that I can even say with my simple Dalmatian that I have now. My Johnny, all my dogs, Oreo and Shat and my Pyrenees, only ones I got is puppies. But all my other dogs, I've had, I don't know how old they even are. Who knows? Ophi, or my Dalmatian, I know because she's got papers that I was able to get. But I know her age, I know her birth date. But all these other dogs, I don't know. And even her, she's different because I didn't get her as a puppy. I got her now. And it's a matter of understanding that that dog has already bonded to somebody else. That dog already has a pairing with somebody else on a who knows where in the world. But it already knows somebody. It already, I'm going to say, trusts somebody. It already understands that person and what they're all about. And then they ended up just easily saying, giving up on. Now someone else has this dog, and you do now. So the dog doesn't know you. The dog doesn't understand you. The dog has zero cares to even want to know you in reality. But yet we're coming at that dog and we're just sit, down, giving them treat, pet, smothering them, putting them on leash, grabbing them, holding them, doing all this stuff to the dog. And the dog's like, who the heck are you? Like, what's going on here? And it's not, I understand us as humans in our thinking. I'm good to you, but the dog doesn't know that. I want to see the best in you, but the dog doesn't know that. I'm trying to get you to be a better dog. I see you're nervous, I see you're scared, and I want to get you to be a more confident dog, but the dog doesn't know that. The dog knows what it used to know, and now it's seeing you. And it's seeing you in a way of, I don't know if I should even want to pay attention to you. The dog has to make that decision on its own timeline, its own way to be able to figure it out, its own understanding. You can't force it. And that's what we as humans are doing to dogs today. And this is the part where I'm different with how I'm ever going to speak about dogs, because I do not look at them and treat them as if they're my property, even though that's what the state says that they are to us. It's my property. That's why my dog bites someone, your dog bites me, hurts me, whatever. Nothing happens from it because it's your property. It's my property. But I don't view dogs like that. I look at dogs in a completely different sense because I can see that they're thinking things through and they're processing stuff and they're able to troubleshoot stuff and they're able to make a decision. Do I even want to listen or do I not want to listen? And that's why when you have a dog that doesn't want to listen, it's because it doesn't trust you. It's not because you don't have enough obedience work on it. It's not because you don't have enough training on it. It's because it just simply doesn't trust you, because it's never got a chance to be able to decide if it wants to do it on its own without any pressure. And that's why my main thing that I'm constantly saying over and over of doing nothing, stop touching dogs, to just have the dog, have it on leash with you. Now, if you just let the dog be free and running all wild and you brought your dog here, who knows where the dog would go? But I want that dog to be near me, because the dog needs to see day after day, week after week, month after month that I haven't hurt it yet, that I haven't done anything weird to it, that I haven't done anything to it is the main thing. Dogs do not understand treats. They do not understand pets. They do not understand toys. They don't understand that stuff. It's just their brain just goes, because treats and toys, both of those go into the drives of the dog. It creates the dog to go into drive. That's why we use it, to get the dogs excited to bring them up. But they're not actually thinking anything through in that drive. They're just doing. So it's like I don't know what they say. There's some people out there that say when you scratch the dog and it starts shaking its leg, it doesn't know what it's doing. It's just a reflex. It's a reflex that's happening. You're putting it in something and a reflex comes from it. It's not thinking it through. It's just like, what's going on? So if you're getting a dog that doesn't trust you and you're getting it to activate its drives, especially if you got such like herding dogs or man, I still rarely see dogs that aren't like prey-driven dogs. They almost all are, because that's kind of the whole purpose of it. Outside of the livestock guardian dogs, you got your Pyrenees and Tolian Shepherd and all these massive certain ones and all that. You don't really have much of an issue with. In reality, at the end of the day, you shouldn't have much of an issue with these dogs. These dogs are pretty chill. They're super laid back. It's the dogs that have the drives, that were activating the drive. And you're activating the drive, and the dog never gets to actually like complete the drive. So for instance, my Border Collie, if I'm activating his drive and he never actually gets to like do anything with that drive, it's just us playing back and forth and doing this stuff and me giving him treats, he's going to get an extreme high level of frustration. That frustration because he was never able to like, I got it out. I got it done. I got the chase. I made the chase. I got the rabbit. I shook the rabbit, and we're on the way. And even just in the sense of being able to engage it. And even if it didn't get it, it still was able to complete its mission. But we're not giving them the say fulfillment part of it. We're just activating the drive. You're activating a drive to a dog that just doesn't know who the heck you are. So you're getting it up, you're bringing it, you're getting it up, you're getting it up, and they're saying no. Oh, getting up, and you're saying no. And this dog is like, what the heck is going on right now? And the dog has no desire to want to trust you because you're just, at the end, it is what it is. What we actually say it is. We're playing games. We're playing games. And you do not get trust by playing games. You do not get trust by playing manipulation. You do not get trust by lying. You get trust by just representing who you are and realizing and allowing that animal to see that you're safe, to see that you're good to go, to see that everything is fine here. That the main thing is why I'm saying to do nothing, because you want that dog to see moment after moment that you haven't done any harm to it. All you did was get the dog calmed down. That's why you want the dog on the leash with you near, so that the dog can calm down. The dog's already going like, this new place, this new stuff, this new owner, these new people, these new smells, and it's just freaking out, man. It's freaking out. That's why a lot of dogs that come from shelters and even puppies, they do wild stuff when you leave them alone. I see all the videos of the dogs chewing up all the couches and chewing up all the furniture and chewing up the curtains and chewing up pillows. I mean, they chewing the carpet. It's funny, not great for me to laugh at, but y'all make jokes about it like it is funny, but I know it's not funny. I know that how much stress that animal's going through to do something like that. It is so stressed out. And then we're coming at it with, let's keep trying to activate it to keep doing that more and more. The dog never got a chance to just settle down and just realize that its world is safe. Its world is good to go. Its world is calm. It's patience. It's just the willingness to be able to just consistently every single day allow that dog to just calm down and relax and get out of its just excessive stressful stance that it used to be in. And that's something that we are required to do to have a nice dog. And I think that that's where most of us are failing, because we're quick to just do all this extra stuff. This is why for me with my Border Collie, everything is different with him that I did with him, because I was watching what I'm going to say are the real dog trainers that are on this YouTube that I've ever seen that I can't find anymore. But it's these old guys. I hate to put it like that, but if you're over 70 years old, I guess you're considered an older person on this planet. But it's these older guys that are just showing you the simple techniques of put leash on dog and hang out with the dog. They give that advice like almost 100% of the time when they get a new puppy. They just put the leash on the puppy and they're just walking around the farm, doing their work, doing the stuff, going to work, going to town, going to places, doing things. And they just have the dog on a leash and they just take it everywhere. They take it everywhere. I mean, it goes everywhere with them. Everywhere. They just say, hang out with the dog. You're not playing with the dog. You're not giving the dog no toys. You're not giving no treats. You're not doing no nothing. Not saying no hooplas, good boys and good girls. You're just having the dog with you. And then through time, the dog will start to want to engage with you. And then when that dog finally starts to engage with you, it's a little bit that it's starting to trust you. And if it still sees that the same thing that it's been getting from just being that, not getting hurt, not damaged, and it still sees that same thing, that's when you're going to start to bring that bond. That bond is going to come to you in a very, very healthy manner. Not in a toxic way of just playing these games. Nobody wants to, we can go into dating and relationship stuff with all this stuff. Nobody wants to be playing no games. We just want it straight up. We want it just straight, man. Just no foolishness. We want straight. Just give me what it is, and I'll decide if I want it or not. And then that's where you want to just show the straightness to the dog, so it decides does it want this or not. And once it decides that it wants it, it's going to say, okay, now what can we do together? And then that's where you get that little bit, and then that's where you move into the respect game, the respect side of it. But that's something that is on a whole different level. But all we're going to talk about right now is trust, because trust is the thing that we're primarily, I think, struggling with the most. Because respect it takes time, man. It takes time to have a really, really, really nice dog. Really nice dog. No pressure on, no collars, no leashes, just simply being able to speak, no, and the dog stops, being able to move, and the dog is with you, stop, and the dog stops with you, go anywhere you want. That takes time. That takes time. I'm talking years time. I'm not talking no 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we got the dog right. In 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we can get the dog right using an excessive amount of pressure. And that doesn't mean that the dog is there with you. It means that it's forced to be there with you. You want the dog to be there because it enjoys and it wants to be there. And that's where you have to put majority of your effort right today, right now with your dog, that you don't know what's going on with it. Put it on a leash and see what's going on with that dog. Stop touching it, stop petting it, stop giving it treats, stop giving it toys, and just hang out. Hang out, see what the dog does. See what it's going to do. If the dog is on the move every 5 seconds, just go, the dog doesn't trust you because it's thinking that something out there is going to be able to fulfill it better than where it is, being close to you. You want the dog to bond to you. That's what dogs do. This is all relationships, people. That you want your dog to bond to you. What a main thing that we do. Mother gives birth to daughter. Hold the baby. They're trying to shove that baby on. You want to build that bond instantly. The instant thing that all of my animals do out here, they do that same thing. My cows push out little baby calves, and they're just licking it, smothering it. They're bonding with it. They never leave it behind. They're there with it. My chickens do the same thing. Those hens, they hatch out their little babies, and they're just all on them. Follow me here, follow me here, and they do that. I mean, just today, these baby chicks at this moment, the last ones I've seen, they're like 8, 9 months old at this stage, and they still look at their mother like, "What's up, woman?" They still are there because they have built that bond, and she has taught them how to go off in the world and do what they need to do, and it's powerful. It's so powerful. And that's why you want to have that dog just build that bond with you, with no games, with no trickery, with no lying, with just being, relaxing, and hanging out. Because when you're just sitting in the house, you want to just relax. Because a lot of y'all, you've messed your dogs up because you're playing all these games inside of the house. That's why your dog won't sit still. It's like in the window, it's over here, it's over here, it's over here. It's everywhere except being anywhere near looking at you and calming down and just relaxing and hanging out. You know, it's another thing, getting outside and running and playing and doing what we're doing. You know, that's something great. But inside of your home, most of y'all think and assume that, oh, my dog can't calm down in the house because it's a high energy dog. My dog can't relax because that's just who they are. No, that's just who you allowed them to be without explaining to them what it is you're looking for. And the dog doesn't trust your word. That's why it's not doing what it is that you're trying to tell them to do. And that's something that we need to put a lot of emphasis on up front. Is get a baseline of where my dog is. You should be able to, especially inside of a home, you should be able to call your dog's name. Say, "Hey, Jimmy, come here." And that dog should come right to you. If your dog does not come right to you, you are moving way too fast with this dog. You need to put this dog on leash and have it with you. And that's where when the dog is on leash, it's hanging out, nothing's happening with it, everything is cool, and you call the dog, you say, "Hey, come here." And the dog gets up and it comes to you. Okay, now I can give him a pet and then just relax and just hang out and just do nothing. You want to be able to say the dog's name and it comes straight to you. I don't care if this is a 50-year-old dog. I don't know if dogs ever made it that far yet or not, but I don't care how old the dog is. The dog should come right to you and right to you and right to you every single time. This is where we're training recall day one through trust. We're trusted. I don't need to add anything to this. I don't need to play no games with this. I don't want to say his name and pull the leash and pull him to me. It's on his free will. If he's staying 6 feet from you on a 6-foot leash, he don't trust you. We want to get him closer and closer and closer and closer and closer so that he starts to feel comfortable and confident in your presence. If your dog doesn't feel confident in your presence, that's why your dog is lunging like a fool outside. And again, the main reason that your dog more likely is laying next to you and it appears to be confident because there's something in it. There's treats, there's pets, there's this extraness that's going on. But when the dog is gone and the dog is getting into the trash can and you're like, "Hey, Susie, come here." And the dog just looks back and looks at you like whatever. Your dog doesn't trust your word. Your dog thinks it needs to do what it needs to do. Especially with the food stuff. I've been playing and doing experiments with all this stuff with my dogs, trying to figure this out because they should trust and know that you're going to give them food so they don't need to take the food from behind your back. This stuff goes deep and it goes powerful, and these dogs are capable of being able to do that for us. They say, "I'll wait," because they're going to give it to me. They're going to give it here. Not because you're forcing and dictating and putting leash pressure or put an e-collar on and stemming him when he going in the trash can, but just being able to make a clear understanding to that dog. Just, "Hey, this over here is where we eat our food." And the dog's like, "Okay, cool. You're going to give me everything that I need." And again, to simplify your life, I hate saying child-proof and dog-proof your house, but dog-proof your house up front, and things are so complicated. If you're just like, no, get the crap out of there, man. Get the toys out of there. Get the trash can out of there. Get the everything, clean the counters, clean your house. Get it all out of there. You're like, "Oh, he keeps picking up socks. Why is the sock on the floor?" Put it where it needs to be. Get it all out of the way so that you can start to be able to simplify the dog's existence with you so it can understand the new rules. You don't know what the rules were like with that dog before. And you're going to come in and just, no. The dog's going to not respect you, That's where you're getting horrible. You're going downhill. And the dog is not going to trust you. And it's going to go downhill because you're coming in and saying, no, 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 no. Instantly, no to everything. And the dog's just sitting there like, what the heck is happening? What is going on right now? And that is exceptionally confusing to the dog. And you put that dog into that confusion, that's where you're not getting any sort of trust. You need to allow that dog to be able to trust. And you cannot make the time, the day, the situation, the scenario happen that the dog finally just does it. The dog is just going to do it when it decides that it's ready and it's there. Some of y'all, this may happen in 15 seconds. You put dog on leash, the dog just comes to you. It's just my number one thing that I know. This is how I'm able to maneuver so many of these so-called reactive dogs, where when they seen their dog that day, I don't want to see it. I don't want to get the dog in that mode. Second I'm there, I'm instantly saying, no, we're never seeing that again. That's done. I know it used to happen an hour ago, but that's done. And I have the dog on leash, and the dog is on the leash at the 6 feet of it. And we're just standing there talking. The dog finally starts to investigate. He's like, what's up with this guy? Gets closer, gets closer, gets closer. And it comes to me. And almost at 100%, what all these dogs do is they just lay down. They lay down. They're like, dude, to me, that's me understanding dogs and me understanding that means that dog says, dude, take the wheel. You got it. Nothing for me to worry about. I want to be able to go somewhere and that dog just come and it just lays down. And it lays down and it lays all on its own. This is why for me, there's a differences of stuff that I've done and I even still semi-do, that I know different ways to make it so that it could be better. And I'm always trying to improve to get better. And I do know that these dogs will lay down. They will sit. They will do all of this on their own. I don't need to lure them with treats. I don't need to do any of this. They will do it. And once they just do it on their own, that's the time that if you stuck on treats, I get you. It's hard for me to get out of certain things I do. I get it. We just do what we do. But if you stuck on treats, when that dog lays down on its own freedom, it just laid down. That's where I just dropped the treat. I don't even say good. I don't say nothing, because this is why I'm trying to figure out how the heck I got my Johnny so good inside of the house with me cooking, with me doing everything. Because when that dude was just laying down, he was like almost passed out, sometimes even passed out on his own free will. I would walk over there, I'd give him a piece of food. I just give my dogs pieces of food. I don't really give them treats. I make my own treats. I got hundreds of pounds of it cooked up, ready to go. Anybody needs some real good treats, I guess I could give you some of that. But he'd be laying down on his own free will, and I would drop a treat. At first, of course, it jazzes the dog back up. That's why we're working backwards here. But that's why you don't do that until the dog trusts you, knowing that you're going to be able to fulfill that drive, that need that he's got. That's where one thing that at the end of the day, I can say I do have an advantage. That if my dogs have the desire to chase, I let them do it. I let them do it out here. It's within my safety range to be able to let them do it. But at the same time, I have other dogs that I don't let chase, and they're still just as fine. But at the same time, I don't give them a single treat. I do not give them a single playing with the toy session. We do what we do. And I've noticed that it is an amazing thing to be able to experience with doing stuff like that. I just give them pets. I'm like, good job, good job. And that's why if your dog doesn't like pets, it don't trust you. Take some steps back. But when that dog lays down in his gun, you just drop the dang treat. The dog eats it. He's gonna look at you like, you got it. I know you got more. And then it's just gonna eventually lay down again. And then when it lays down again, I'll just drop that thing again. But again, this is where it gets complicated, because if you do not know what you're doing with the treats and the toys and all that, that's where you're gonna struggle. And that's why there's trainers I know for a fact that I could get a lot of stuff done really fast with using treats. And I don't really care for the toys, but using treats. But it's a matter of understanding what's going on with the dog. And not everyone is equipped with that. You need experience, man. You need to work way more dogs to get good at it. Some are going to be better, and others are going to be like, I messed up. Like I shouldn't have did that. And you're going to stumble into that. But it's a matter of being able to do stuff that we all can do. And we all can have a dog on a leash and just do nothing. If you are incapable of doing that, like I don't know what more to say about that part. But I want to be able to somehow coach you and motivate you and let you know, like, you can do it. I'm telling you, you can do it. You can do it. You can stop touching. You can stop this stuff so that you can allow the dog to trust you. You can do it. I'm going to stand here and say that you are definitely capable of being able to do that. And that's how you're going to get your dog to see you, to understand you, to represent you. And then once we get that dog to just finally calm down, the dog should be calm in your presence, especially when there's nothing around, such as inside of your home, such as in your backyard, such as in your front yard, such as just everywhere around its vicinity. It should be calm. That's why your dog's is barking at everything, like every little thing. Micro things that are moving here, moving there, moving here, moving here. They're barking at it all because they don't feel safe, because they don't feel calm, because they don't feel like they have anybody has got their back, that they're in this world alone, that they don't trust you. Once you get that dog lays there and hangs out. Now we're going to move on to doing some more things. And that's something that I'm going to further talk about later on, some other time, some other day. And that's the part of how to build up that respect. Because that respect is your dog training. That's what you should focus like 100% of your energy on. Not thinking that dog training is how to get my dog to sit better. I'm going to promise you this. When your dog respects you, you're not worried about no sit. You're not worried about no down. You're not worried because the dog is going to do it. Like somehow they just pair up and understand and they just do it. These dogs naturally already have things like just programmed inside of them. They're amazing. And they just automatically do these things that we're looking for our normal, everyday, day-to-day stuff we do. And I'm telling you, your main focus should be respect. If you want to get on how to get a better dog, how to train my dog, get on this YouTube and start looking up respect. Start looking up trust techniques. Start looking up these things. These things are what is going to give you a phenomenal dog. And in the ways of being able to do it without using any manipulation, without using any just lies, without anything, which is being, I want my dog to just know me. How do I get him to know me? That's what you should be researching right now. And I'm telling you, there's all kinds of information on here. And they have, there's a lady that's got a phenomenal channel. She's got like 400 or 500 subscribers. She has probably the best information on how to be able to get a dog to trust and respect you on this YouTube. And she has some amazing interviews that she's doing with people that are explaining the concepts and the different ways of understanding, of looking at your dog and realizing your dog used to be bonded to somebody else. And you're going to come in and think that it should just naturally, automatically do that to you. You've got to break that old bond off. And then you got to build a new one with yourself. That doesn't happen overnight. You've got to put time and patience in all of this. And you got to be able to create the scenario so the dog is going to be able to have a chance to win. Stop with the games of chasing them around the house all the day and doing all this and throwing the treats and doing all this. You're not building any sort of bond like that. And this information is all out here. And that's the information that we should be studying the most. The most that you're going to get the best help with your dogs is by listening to the people that in reality, I try to follow suit with seeing what they do. They don't show anything of this is the technique of how to this and how to this and how to this and how to that. They're not doing any of that. All they're doing is talking about the concepts of how to be able to build the relationship with your dog. And that's the way to have the nice dog that you're looking for. It has nothing to do with obedience training. Nothing. And obedience training is exactly the word that it is, that I'm researching just that specific word to break it down to get a better understanding of what that actually means. That's something I would suggest everyone that watch me, like look up and research the word obedience. And what does it mean? What are we expecting when we think of that word? Because automatically in my brain, I'm already thinking of dictator, ruler telling you to do something that you don't want to do. And once I keep telling you, one day you'll naturally just start to do it and just think that you want to do it. And that's lying. We got a lot of that going on this planet, that they try to make you think that, oh, that's what you want to do. And it's hurting you, and it's not making you feel good. But yet you keep doing it. And after a certain amount of time, you just have it in you. Oh, it is what it is. This is just what I do. I got to make it happen. I got to get up at 5. I got to this. And you just fall into it. But you're never satisfied. We've got so many people on this planet that y'all are not satisfied with what you do because someone sold to you something that you thought you had to do. That's obedience. They're going to keep you obedient. You better clock in at 5 o'clock. You better clock out at 9 o'clock. You better this. You better this. You better that. You better be here. You better this. You better make it happen. Is your life like feeling fulfilled right now, or stressed as all heck can be? And that's the part that someone would say, "Oh, I get paid, so it makes it worth." No, you getting paid is what's actually making it even worse at the end of the day. And that's what we're doing to the dogs. We got to pay them to work. That's why they're struggling. The way that you come home stressed after going to work, just irritated, just like, I can't stand, I hate my job, man. Why do I got to keep going there? Just know that your dog thinks and feels that exact same way. The exact same way. It's like, I can't stand her making me do all this, but I'll do it. I'll do it because I'm getting paid. I'm getting fed, I got no other choice. It is what it is. Or would you rather have something completely different from that? and be able to give your dog the experience that, shoot, maybe this is the part with the beauty of being a parent is wanting your children to do something way significantly better than what you're doing. I mean, as far as a healthy relationship with your children, there's the negative sides of relationships, and there's the positive sides. The positive side of it is I worked in a factory, I worked in a warehouse. I never want my children to do that. I want them to be better. And that's what we should look at for everything around us. I know what I have kind of sucks a little bit, but I want everything around me to be better. Let me give it a better life, not the same life that I have. Man, I want more and more people to just think about this stuff with your dogs. And I'm telling you, you want the best dog on the planet? Stop worrying about obedience. Start worrying about respect, trust. Start worrying about patience. Start worrying about forgiveness. I mean, forgiveness is one of the biggest parts of the respect. That you're not even there yet if your dog don't trust you. Don't even worry about it in reality, because your dog still hasn't quite done anything wrong. It's still, you're still all right with it. But some of y'all in a situation that your dog has put teeth on you already, and it's got you very nervous. It's got you really scared. And the only way you're going to get through that is through forgiveness. And there's going to be a million trainers out here that are going to say that I'm an idiot and I'm foolish and I don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm fine with that, because I'm going to just straight up say that I know for a fact that what they have in their life isn't what they're trying to actually sell and show you. What they have in their life is still, they're having chaos. They're having problems. They're still struggling, but they don't want to stand up and say it. I'm the first to stand up and say, not the first, but one of not many, that I did something wrong and I didn't like that. I did something wrong and I wish I wouldn't have done that. And I want to show it and explain it, because a lot of what I do is old techniques just to prove to myself, to say this stuff really does work. And then I'm doing it and doing it and doing it, and I'm seeing like it's not actually working the way that I thought. It's not. It's not. Not all dogs are the same. Not all dogs are trained the same. And I'm proving that day by day, because some things that I do with one of my dogs, I can't do with another. I've done leash pressure to down to almost every single one of my dogs, and I didn't have a single issue. But this Dalmatian, I came in and did it, and she's like, buddy, you do that one more time. I'm not much to try to bite nobody, but you might make me be that one that I want to start biting. And I'm like, I'm sorry. So I got to come at her differently. It's a different approach. They're not all the same. And that's something that, unfortunately, I've been doing research on Dalmatians and this, and people talk about them, and me seeing the failure rate with a lot of them. And I'm like, I can see it. We're forcing it to do something that it's different dog, man. Each dog is so different. It's how my Pyrenees is the same way. He's like, buddy, you think about putting that leash on and telling me to sit, we fighting. And I'm like, that dude literally weighs more than me. I'm like 145 pounds. That dude is like 140 pounds. We pound for pound together. That dude would destroy me. And he looks at me like, don't do it. And I don't do it. And our relationship is amazing. He will come every time I call him. He stops barking every time I tell him to. He lays down every time that I'm just hanging out. Our relationship is on point. And I don't do a single lick of obedience. And that's why I believe that certain dogs have came to me. Because there's one that I couldn't, because he would have bit me. And I ain't trying to get bit by no dang dogs. And he's tough. And I had others that you even think about like raising your voice. They're no good. I've had a whole different variety of range. And some of them might say I got a lot of dogs, but you don't notice it when you come out here. You don't notice it. I got a lot of chickens. I got a few cows at this point. I got a pig over here. Hopefully you saw him. He's pretty cool. He's kind of the highlight of the show. Everybody likes this dang on pig. I don't know what it is about the pig, but everything I work the same way with building that relationship with. The day that I come with too much pressure, I used to have a ruthless rooster, a rooster that every time you would come out, anybody would come here, this dude would run up on you. And you know what I was doing to him? I was applying pressure. And then I tried to, I ain't gonna lie, this dude was crazy, man. I tried treats, tossing food. I'd have a little bucket and toss it to him. And he kept getting worse and worse and worse. Worse and worse. I wasn't trusting, giving him any respect of his territory. And it's like, you give respect to the animal. Yes, now that I've given him respect to his territory and I stopped leaving his ladies alone, he doesn't mess with me at all, period. He doesn't run up after my daughter no more. He don't run up at no one no more. He's just chill. He's just standing right there looking at me right now like, hey, how's it going? The dude is chill, because I got away from the pressure and I got away from the treats. And I got into, what's going on with you? Why are you hostile with me? It's because I was messing with his stuff in a way that he didn't want it to be. We're good now. Same with my cows. Same with my pig. Same with everything out here. Everything is the same way. It's all the same way. The same way that I look at and I try to communicate with other people to the point today. It's all the same stuff. The same way. It's all the same. And when we're coming at it with foolishness, we're going to get foolishness. When we come at it real, we're going to get real. And stop trying to impose yourself and just hang out. and just relax and allow that dog to see what's happening in its life. It hasn't forgot about its old yet. It's almost assuming that, unfortunate thing, most of what we do, which is the treats and all this stuff, everyone's doing. So when that dog gets to the point that it's getting so-called aggressive and it gets into the shelter and it's coming back to you and you start doing the same stuff, you're seeing the same thing again. That's a big difference that I noticed with any dog that I take, because that dog, I'm not doing that. The dog's like, oh, I can hang with you, cool, man. You all right. Like, I'm fine with you. But if you try to do that other stuff, I don't know what's going on, because it's still like in its said, I guess the way you could put it, it's PTSD, man. It's got its old memory there. It's not that it's living in it, but since it's been doing it every single day, it has something in it that just has a reflex. Like my shepherd, if I move too fast to his head, he got a little bit in him still that he's like, what's going on? So more likely every day, this boy has been smacked in the face over and over and over and over and over again. Just smacked around because he's got a little bit in there. He's much better. Because that's why day one, when I moved too fast, this dude tensed up, looked at me like, I'm like, we good, man. I ain't about that mess. Like, we good. And it's in there. And we gotta let them see that we're not like that. We're not like that. Your intentions as a human is something, but to the dog, it don't know. So do nothing with that dog to get it to trust you. And the way that I've come to really just see on how I know that a dog is starting to trust me is when I stop and I'm just hanging out, the dog lays down. And then I do that in the front yard, the dog lays down. And then I do that going down the street and the dog lays down. And then I do that going to the store and the dog lays down. And the dog starts to just it's like looking around, it's like, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? That's most cases why the dogs are moving, because they're trying to make themselves feel safe in a way. But when the dog just lays down, it's like, I'm good. Everything, I don't need nothing. And this takes time. This takes hours. But when you put in the real time of working with your dog, not thinking that I need to play these games all day, but just hang out and do nothing all day, you're going to find that success that you're looking for. You're going to see things that are just going to happen. You're just going to say, wow, this is pretty incredible. Where are we going to go to next? And I'm like, where are we going to go to next is going to be really cool. Because once you start to get that trust, now when you get into the respect, you're going to start to be able to allow that dog to understand that it knows you. It understands you. It knows you're going to be able to talk back and forth with no trickery, no treats, no toys, no praise, no leashes, no nothing. My number one goal is to always get dogs off leash as fast as absolute possible. The leash is the tool to get me to get to that point. It's a communicator. It's not something that's needed. I mean, not a lot around here. You need it for a visual appearance. So someone says that you have a leash on your dog, but you shouldn't need it to restrain and to hold the dog back, to know to stay with you. That's the biggest difference that I want a lot of people to just focus on trust, respect. Do not focus on obedience and direction and all this other stuff. That's why you're stumbling and fumbling. Thank you.